We're going to give it a couple of minutes to allow everybody to get in. Thank you for joining us today for our hybrid webinar for Showtime. Still got some people filtering in, so we'll give it a few more minutes. Okay. I think we'll go ahead and get started. So again, thank you for joining us. My name is Carrie Dillon. I'm the Managing Director of the International Textile Alliance. We are a nonprofit business association whose members include textile mills, leather tanneries, trimmings manufacturers, and suppliers to the industry. We host a biannual show, Showtime Market, and so that's what we are here today presenting at the market and also via Zoom for those that want to either dial in from their showroom or weren't able to attend. But I should also mention our next show will be May 26th through the 25th of 2022. So go ahead and mark your calendars if you weren't able to make it to this one. Additionally, the ITA has an educational foundation that focuses on educating our members and bringing new talent into the industry. I am excited to be here today with Ashley Buckalew. She is with Tencel Fibers. We also have presenting with her is Gam Stoker. And the topic for today is sustainability. Oh, hello. Sustainability beyond a trend with Tencel Fibers. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Ashley. I will be here to jump back on at the end to help answer and moderate any questions. So if there are questions that arise during the presentation, please put them in the Q&A section and we will take some time at the end of the presentation to address those. So Ashley and Gamze, thank you for being here and I will turn it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carrie. Yes. Again, my name is Ashley Buckalew. I'm with Tencel Fibers. We have a very short presentation, about 20 to 25 minutes for you today. We'll take questions at the end, and we're going to do a question from the chat, and then we'll do a question from the people in the room that are here with us today. We're also on the 5th floor of Market Square Tower, so you can come into this floor and join us live in person if you're here at the market. So with that, we will get started. I'm going to share my screen now. Actually, I will need you to enable me to share that.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Let me make you the co-host.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. Here you go.
Wonderful. Okay, great. So the theme of this market is actually what is trending. So I know we're all happy to be back together again. The pandemic continues, but it's nice to be in person together, getting a chance to touch and feel the fabrics that everyone is promoting here. And we normally talk about trends as in color or what's happening with, thickness, what people want to see in their homes. And we want to talk about a trend that we think is here to stay, which is sustainability. So the name of this presentation is Sustainability Beyond a Trend. And in the background, this is a part of Austria because our company Lenzing is headquartered in Lenzing, Austria. So brief presentation overview here. Why is sustainability more than a buzzword? How our industry can take meaningful action. Our industry, I'm talking about the interiors market today. Tencel branded fibers, what are they? The applications of those fibers, and then the benefits and performances that they can give your product. And then we just touch on branding, why you would want to do that. So to start us off here, why is sustainability more than a buzzword? So as we've seen more and more in the media, people are becoming environmentally conscious. And they know that what we're seeing happening out in the world is a result of our production practices. So those practices have led to environmental degradation. And what that means is we have rising greenhouse gas emissions that often is coming through our production method and also from the use of non-renewable raw materials. There's water pollution that is happening due to microcontamination. There's air pollution due to inefficient energy use, such as coal burning. Then we have deforestation, which is happening because we are taking more than we're giving back. And also because we have a production process which is linear. So how can we as an industry take meaningful action to reduce our impact? When I just said linear production model, I'm normally talking about, we're not thinking about from the beginning, what is the end result of this product? What is going to happen to this product after the consumer stops using it and either wants to give it away or get rid of it, period. So that when we're thinking about production, it's called, circular design thinking. And a lot of the ways that you can take action here is through your raw material sourcing. So thinking about before the product is at the end of its life, what is it made out of? Some natural materials that we know everyone works with in this industry: cotton, linen, and wool. These all naturally biodegrade. Then we can also think about, okay, don't send it to a landfill, let's reuse it. So we have things like regenerated materials, polyester synthetics. And we also have wood-based fibers, which is what we'll talk about here today. Wood-based also biodegrades because it's cellulosic at its base level, meaning it can be broken down. Also talking about sharing resources, that's what we're doing here today. We're giving an educational presentation to stir conversation and to keep the conversation moving forward, because we want people to feel like they can share best practices, share knowledge, and that helps hold us all accountable to each other and also to our production practices. Because once you say something out loud, people are going to ask you about that later. Did you follow up with that? Did you really do that? Have you reduced your carbon footprint? How have you done that? So we work in order to reduce our carbon footprint every day. And one of the ways we learn about best practices in this industry is through networking with the Sustainable Furnishings Council. That's what SFC stands for on this slide. We just wanted to lift up their work there. So back to what our fiber actually is. It is a fiber from natural polymer. So I think most people are used to natural polymers being cotton, flax, hemp, jute. Well, on the other side of this branch, if you follow it all the way down, you're going to see wood-based fibers: viscose, Modal, Lyocell, Cupro, etc. Today, we're going to be learning about our branded fibers, which is Tencel Modal and Tencel Lyocell. So we've actually been making fiber for over 100 years. We first started producing viscose, which we brand now as EcoVero. And we had some challenges that we wanted to overcome with the end result of that fiber. And one of the ways we innovated was we produced Tencel Modal in the 1950s, and this made the fiber stronger, so there was less pilling when wet. The latest iteration of our fiber is called Tencel Lyocell, and we created this in 1992. This is our strongest fiber profile. It's also the cleanest production process that we have. So what do we mean by clean production? We mean that we use 100% of the wood that we are sourcing. So again, it's wood-based. The raw material here that you need to understand is wood. That's what our fiber comes from. We're using 40% for pulp. We use 10% for byproduct and 50% as biofuel. The byproduct goes into other industries, mostly the food industry. So we make, or they take the byproduct and they make sugar for chewing gum and vinegar for canning goods. And then we recapture the biofuel to run our plant. And when we're running our plant, we're making fiber, and we're making Tencel Modal fiber. This is due to efficient recovery. We are able to innovate on the viscose process. And so the end result has a lower footprint. It does less damage than the viscose production. Then we even have a closed loop production method, which again, wood to pulp. The solvent here is completely organic, so there's no chemical, and we recapture the water in the solvent. So this is a closed loop production. Again, when you're thinking about circular design and what kind of materials you want to use for your fabrics, we're a really good opportunity. And how can you use this fiber for the interiors application? I know a lot of people may know our brand from apparel. You can find it as Old Navy, Zara, we're really all over the map. Also in home products, we work with Pottery Barn, we're in Bed Bath & Beyond. So people already know our name, but we're just now kind of really getting started in the interiors market. And we're talking about soft furnishings here, upholstery, curtain, and component. So for our upholstery, we have Tencel Lyocell blended upholstery, as you can see here, blend well with any other fiber. We also have developments like linen and Tencel for curtain weight fabrics. And then when I mention components, I'm talking about the inside of a piece of furniture. So around the frame, we use a needle point felt, which helps secure the fabric over the furniture. And also you can use a garnetted Tencel wadding around the cushion. So it'll hold the upholstery in place. There's no puddling, and it also has these inherent properties. And now we're going to talk more about the inherent properties. So benefits and performance with Tencel fibers. There are many here. We're not going to go through all of them. We've touched on the botanic origin, and we've touched on environmentally sound production process. So now we want to talk about, all right, what does this fiber actually feel like, and how can, why would I add this to my fabric? For one thing, it's long-lasting softness. So it gives a really gentle hand. Tencel fibers are ideal for blending partner with other commonly used fiber types. And due to the inherent property of the fiber, that's what makes it soft and smooth. So as you can see here, obviously compared to cotton and wool, the outside of the fiber itself is very uniform and slick. So this really enhances a really soft feel. And so it's good to blend with like a polyester or wool. Also for drape, if you were going to use this in a curtain weight development or for window application, we did a really cool test here. You lay a piece of fabric over a tabletop. Underneath you have a mirror, and you see how deep the drape will go. And you can tell that by how little shadow there is. So the smaller the shadow, or the radius basically of the shadow, the higher the drape. So that's another reason you might want to incorporate it. Huge reason, obviously, for people who are thinking about furniture, moisture management for thermal regulation. If you're like me, you fall asleep on the couch as often as you can. And sometimes you wake up and you feel a little hot and sticky. The cool thing about our fiber is that it inherently draws moisture into the core of its structure, and then it quickly dissipates into the air. So the moisture will be away from your body. It'll help regulate your temperature, and then it won't stay in the upholstery. And that is important because you don't wash your upholstered fabrics. They stay on your couch for the life of your couch for the most part. And this means that they're unfavorable for bacterial growth. So because there's no moisture within the fabric, it's not a very favorable environment for there to be bacteria to grow. Also, what doesn't grow there, and this is an interesting slide, is dust mites. We use this for dramatic effect, but as you can see, we started the trial with 300 dust mites. And then on the left, you have the Tencel fibers. On the right, you have cotton fibers. On the left, after 42 days, there was a reduction in growth. So there's only 148 dust mites left. On the right, there's an explosion. There's 5,880 dust mites. And this is just good for people to understand. Everyone, has these fears now coming out of the pandemic of what's there that I can't see. So this is a good thing to let people know. We also have done a lot of performance testing. This slide is very basic because the tests are pretty rigorous, and I didn't want to confuse everyone with the different levels, but please do reach out to us after the presentation because we have a lot more of the statistics and data points for us to share with you. But just know, both for the abrasion and pilling tests, we passed with flying colors, and we used the Martindale test. Okay, circular design once more. Our fibers are fully biodegradable and compostable. We have the certifications at the bottom here to show you that and to back up our claims. So basically, just like any other natural fiber, you don't have to worry about it creating microcontamination. And then the best fiber partners for blending with Tencel Fibers. Really, we blend really well with pretty much any other fiber type, but it depends on the story that you want to tell. So if you're trying to get credit for choosing a sustainable product, which I'm sure that you are, you want to be able to show people, oh, this entire fabric, if it's blended with Tencel and wool, will biodegrade. Or you could go another route. If you have a poly in the warp, you could say this product, we have a carbon zero offering. You could say this product reduces the carbon impact by doing this. You could also blend it with a recycled polyester, which is going to give you another really good story to tell people. So that's something to kind of stir conversation here. And then speaking of telling the story, I touched on this earlier, consumers are already recognizing our brand out in the market. So we did we did a study in 2018, and we found that we're the #1 most recognized sustainable fiber brand. So we've gotten some good traction. People are really starting to know us, and they're starting to ask their brands and retailers if the fabric is made with this. Do you carry fabrics made with this? So this could just be the thing that really puts your product over the edge and really makes the consumer choose this fabric over another. And then we just want to say here, services for your benefit. This is really all of the e-branding support that we give you, marketing materials, including story support that we can help you with. We do have a where to buy page. So if the product ends up, the end use product ends up in the market, we can support here and drive consumers to your brands and retailers. And technical support for developments. I know a lot of what we're talking about here today is B2B. So we want you to know that as you're going through trial developments, we're here to help support you with any challenges that you might face. And then co-branding campaigns. We just were at House Beautiful earlier in the year in Texas, and it was a really great time for us to get out into the market, the consumer facing side of things. So we're doing double duty here. So let me see, I think that is the last slide that I have. I'm gonna leave this slide up so that you guys can take down my cell or my email if you want to reach out to me hereafter. Also, I'm going to let Gamze, she's our production manager, handle all of the questions now because they can get pretty technical and she's the expert.
Thank you very much for that presentation. If anyone has any questions, we'd love for you to just type them into the Q&A section. Sounds like y'all might have done such a great job covering everything that no one has any questions.
But they can reach out to us from the emails later if they have any questions, and we can send the presentations, all the detailed questions, different fiber types, because here we cover really little but we can answer deeply all the questions after the coming weeks also.
Okay. Well, that's, yeah, I think it's a good idea. We'll leave this up for a minute so that everyone can have the opportunity to collect your information.
Yeah.
You can always reach out to me afterwards too, and I'm happy to connect you. But we certainly appreciate both of you being here today and taking time to present.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, doesn't look like we have any questions. So great job with the presentation. Oh, we have a thank you. You're very welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Maybe the audience have a question here. We have samples, we can show it. And yeah. We are showing some samples now, but
okay.
If anybody interested to see samples also, we have a capsule collections with some supply chain partners. We can send some swatches if anybody interested also to see the effect of our fibers when it goes to upholstery fabrics, to touch, to feel. We can send swatches also.
Okay, Gamze, we do have one question about where is the fiber produced?
We have all over the world different locations. We have two factories in Australia. We have factory in America, in factory in England and Indonesia, and we have a pulp production in Czech Republic. And now a new investment is coming in Thailand, new production, Brazil, new pulp production. And if we go to Lyocell and Modal, which is the fibers which we use for upholstery, they are produced in Austria and in England, is more in the Europe side. Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. All right. Well, I think any other questions? We've got the contact information here, and again, feel free to reach out to me, and I'd be happy to connect you. And again, thank you to Gamze and Ashley for presenting for us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope everyone has a great afternoon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
If you have any questions, you can answer. Did everybody see the examples? This new fiber presented here is for Modal is a long time, and it gives a gene effect, but it doesn't